welcome to the Help Is Here podcast brought to you by the Beyond Compulsion Academy. Today, we're going to be responding to a YouTube comment about ChatGPT. A lot of people nowadays, they use ChatGPT to try and solve their porn addiction, and it isn't always effective. In fact, it can actually make your porn addiction even worse. And what we'll do is we will explain exactly how. So, here's the YouTube comment. I asked ChatGPT about what you said in your previous videos about avoiding triggers and urges. Brackets, I hope I got your point right. Here's what it said. What you said about Beyond Compulsion Academy is partially true, but incomplete. They're right that avoiding triggers alone is not enough long term. You need to change how you think during cravings. But here's what they don't emphasize enough. In early stages, reducing triggers is critical. The balanced truth. Recovery has two phases. Phase 1, you are here. High cravings, low control, frequent relapses. Strategy, reduce triggers, add friction, stabilize. Phase 2, brackets, later. More control, less impulsivity. Strategy, challenge thoughts, brackets, rational motive behaviour therapy style, rewire beliefs. Your mistake right now, you're trying to jump straight into, I must face urges and refute them, whilst your brain is still highly reactive, easily triggered, not stable yet. That's like trying to train discipline in the middle of a storm. Over to you, Mary.
That was ChatGPT said all that?
It did indeed, yeah.
Wow, I wonder where they're pulling their information from.
The internet.
Yeah,
well,
I know,
that's what it does.
but who's providing it? The internet just doesn't come out of the ether.
Well, from us.
Someone's giving that advice.
Me, probably. No, like, oh, I know what you mean. So basically, obviously, it's like taking information from our website, maybe transcripts of our videos, maybe more information that this person has said about our approach towards things. If this guy's maybe tried to explain how we do things a little bit based on what he's heard so far on the podcast. And then obviously pulling the rest of that information from the amalgamation of bullshit on the internet.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was wondering, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Now, honestly, I can see why you got stuck trying to make this podcast.
Yeah. I was trying to do it on my own last week.
It's like what I end up wanting to do is ask more unanswerable questions.
Yeah.
You know, ask ChatGPT more unanswerable questions. So if you're okay, you must do something. I tried to write it down. I must do something when I'm not yet stable or not stable yet.
Okay, so it says, so basically it was like, in the early stages, reducing triggers is critical. The strategy is to reduce triggers, add friction, stabilize. And then in phase 2, you move on to having more control, less impulsivity. And therefore, then you can start like challenging your thought patterns and rewiring your belief system, etc.
Oh, okay. But adding friction, well, that's completely the opposite of what we would teach. You know, we're not gonna, and reducing triggers. Well, I guess, yeah, if they're saying, you know, don't go on a porn site or something like that. But the thing is if triggers are going to happen naturally because of the wired desire. The desire is wired into your brain at a very young age, right? So that's going to trigger you without anything outside of your brain. So reduce your brain going in like surgically remove that neural pathway. I mean, like, I'm sorry, I'm at a loss, but you know, the thing is and any trigger, when you are triggered, when you're having that desire, we teach people how to connect to that desire, right? That is the opportunity to gain traction, not friction, and to get to a place that you are more stable. You know what I mean? So you see that, oh, okay, now I can connect to this and I can think it all the way through and I can make a choice. Because otherwise it's like, how are you going to get any stability moving forward if you're not able to connect and start to make a change?
Yeah.
It's kind of backwards. I don't know. ChatGPT always confuses me. So.
Well, what do you know? No, I'm joking. So we always say that to each other. Um, but yeah, that this was my response at first as well. Is like I was trying to record a podcast on this, and my mind was like bamboozled because there was so much like unanswerable stuff in
Right.
it. But I think just focusing on like what we do know, so that unpacking it, 'cause there's so much to it, and I think that's kind of the challenge here. But like this idea, first of all, of recovery has two phases, and there's this phase one and a phase two, and that your brain is going to rewire naturally on its own by simply avoiding the desires. And then you
Okay.
get to a position where your brain's more stable and it's less like reactive, it's less all over the place.
No.
And then at that point, you're able to start challenging your thought patterns because now your brain is more like developed. And at that point, you're able to think more rationally. But that's bullshit. That's not how it works.
Yeah,
And it's
it's
such a
bullshit.
misconception.
The
So,
brain
yeah.
is phase one. The brain is going to rewire on its own by reducing triggers.
Well, it's not explicitly said that, but it said phase one, you are here, high cravings, low control, frequent relapses. The
Oh,
strategy there is to reduce triggers, add friction. And then it's saying like phase two later on, after you've like stabilized, because it does say stabilize as well, phase two later, then you've got more control, less impulsivity. But you don't get from phase one to phase two without going through the compulsive desires and thinking those through
right.
rationally and then not acting on that desire like that's
Yeah.
how you get that
Yeah.
development. It's you've got to have the desire to go through it to change the
Yeah.
neural pathways. It doesn't make any sense, and I think that's probably why I was struggling a bit at first.
Well, and it says that you're gonna have the high triggers, high what and frequent relapses,
It
and
does
having
say,
those, and that's how you
yeah,
in phase one you're gonna get to phase two where you're gonna be in a better place to start trying to challenge your thinking.
yeah, literally it says phase one you're here, frequent relapses, but like how are you
Well,
going to go from
you better
frequent,
fucking
yeah,
hope so, because if you're having all the frequent relapses, you're going to have a lot of thinking to be challenging. But the thing
uh
is, the addictive part of the mind is going to be so in control that is like, if because it basically it's validating, or you're going to be relapsing a lot in the beginning, right? You're going to have those frequent relapses and lack of control or whatever it said. It didn't say lack of control. It
low
said
control,
no control.
low control,
Low control.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So you're going to have low control. Okay, there you go. You just validated to someone who's dealing with an addiction that they're going to have low control and frequent relapses. And this is how you're going to get that phase one to get to a place where you can actually challenge your thinking. But you can't in the beginning,
Yeah, it's mad.
no, because you got low control and you're going to be relapsing frequently. You
It
tell
makes no
any
sense.
addict that, they're going to be, oh yeah, okay, cool, let's go. you know?
Literally this is
Yeah.
what I said. So like I came in here last week and I tried to record it, as I said, and I was saying like, all right, shut up. I was like joking. I was kind of like, shut up, Chat GPT. Why are you telling me I'm gonna have frequent relapses for? Why are you telling me I've got low control? Like I was saying to the guy, I was like, why are you letting some random amalgamation of internet advice tell you you've got low control and that you're gonna be having frequent relapses? Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so helpless. Like it's actually horrendous, but like that's where the internet's at right now. Like everyone's going to tell you on the internet, yeah,
Want to
you're going to be
stab my
relapsing.
ears out.
It's
Stab my ears
horrible.
out.
I hate it. It's
I
just,
know. But
yes,
the thing is, literally everybody's turning to it all the time. Like it's this gold mine of valuable information. No, it's not.
yeah,
It's the most babble that's happening, whether it's accurate or not. It's the majority of the babble compiled into whatever bullshit they want to spew. I don't know. It's really frustrating.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the other bit as well was like, because it's saying like your mistake right now is you're trying to jump straight into, I must face urges and refute them, whilst your brain is still highly reactive, easily triggered, not stable yet. But the only way to get your brain stable and like more in control and calmer and less like all over the place is by going through the desire in a rational way. And
Right.
I think that's just the key thing. Like that's how you do it. And the last bit in this was that's like trying to train discipline in the middle of a storm. But the truth is, like, real success comes from going through the challenging times. Like that's how you make the progress in your neural pathways as
Yeah.
you go through the desires. And if you believe like the desires are scary or it's like this big storm and you're too reactive right now and you have low control, It's like, how are you ever going to actually be in control of yourself? It's never going to happen. Like, you're just going to stay stuck in the revolving door, just round and round and round.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I heard this like a few years ago. Well, I'm very grateful I met you, Mary, because otherwise I'd be in that cycle still, just going round and round due
Yeah,
to all
with
the
all
internet.
the more
Yeah,
information. When I met you, you were looking for all this information, doing all these things, and now there's even more to confuse people, And the thing is it's like if you were talking, I mean, I don't have a chat GPT thing. I don't know if you have to have a thing. That's how much I know about chat GPT, but it's like if you ask the AI mode on the Google, it always says, do you have another question? Pose any question, here's some information. Now here's another question. Ask a question. Now ask another question, and it's just like, just goes down the rabbit hole, which is just the worst thing for somebody who's experiencing an addictive behavior that's harming their life is to go, talk. It's just like our previous podcast, talk about ADHD and OCD.
mm,
Hello, go talk to Chat GPT.
exactly. And don't get me wrong, I love ChatGPT for some use cases. Like, I find it very useful for some areas of work,
Well,
occasionally, but
things
for
that are
addiction
not
recovery.
subjective necessarily, things that maybe have an actual definitive answer pulled from scientific evidence, pulled from data that's not somebody's opinion.
Mm,
I don't know. I've lived a long life without Chat GPT. I think I've done okay. I don't know.
yeah.
It is useful. You're right. It is useful in some situations, but my friend Patricia, she's like named it Uncle somebody or whatever, and she talks to it all the time, and I just humor her, it's like, okay, cool, whatever.
Depends
Have
what
fun.
you're using it for, though. Like,
Yeah.
ChatGPT, for some cases, is useful. It's just, you don't want to let ChatGPT, you know, inform you on some things which, yeah, as you say, are like very, very maybe subjective. And it's like, if there's just like a million different people's opinion on it, maybe not going to be the best.
Well, and the thing is, too, if you've got a good enough head on your shoulders to ask the right questions, that can be helpful as well. It can be more helpful than just to give it kind of this general question with the space to just fill in whatever. If you can get really specific, like, hip replacement is like literally all the rage. Everyone's hip replacement, hip replacement. You talk to AI about hip replacement, they're going to tell you, oh yeah, it's the best. It's the coolest thing. It's everyone, and then so I asked it, I said, is it possible that unsuccessful hip replacements are not getting statistically recorded? Because people are not, that's not in the chat GB or AI is like, oh yeah, it's actually probable, and it's like, and then referenced Australia doing an actually kind of a, what do you call it when you collect the data in an environment that's everybody, right? That 35% of hip replacements are actually a fail. Not like, oh, go get it. Not everyone walks out of the hospital the next day and all this kind of shit. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
If you know if you can ask it real specific questions that, you know what I'm saying?
few of my,
For
yeah.
addiction, forget it. For addiction, lose it. Please lose the AI for addictive advice on addiction.
A few of
Not
my
helpful.
friends are software developers. They're like, and like senior as well. Like, they're doing very well in the software development world. And they told me like ChatGPT basically just validates what you want it. What, like, it's trying to keep you there. It's trying to make you stay using it more
Yeah.
and more, right? So
Yeah.
it's going to validate a lot of your thinking, and it's going to kind of say what you want it to say, sort of thing. If you're in an addiction, overall, you're going to want a chatbot to say things that are going to align with what the addictive part of the mind wants. Like, that makes sense. They told me to use something called Claude instead, which thinks a bit more critically. I've not used it yet, but I probably will. Sounds quite popular, so I'll give that a go. But yeah,
Well,
anyway, yeah, go
and
ahead.
when you're talking to it, when you're talking to Chat GPT and you do not have the training to identify when the addictive part of the mind is in the driver's seat doing the talking. So now the addictive part of your mind is going to be chatting with ChatGPT, right? They're going to be asking the questions and talk about confirmation bias. You got the addictive part of the mind doing the talking. It's going to totally get validated by AI. Yeah.
I bet if I wanted, I could convince ChatGPT to tell me to go watch porn.
Yeah, you could.
If I wanted to.
I've
It's so
done
easy.
that. I have done that. I've tried to do it, and it was not that difficult to get them to validate doing it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's wrap up here. Critical thinking is king. Make choices yourself. You know, you only really get to a position of empowerment by making decisions for yourself and no longer letting like a random AI tell you what to do. So yeah, that's what I would say as well. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.